So, if you guys have been paying attention to the news recently, you'll know that protests and counter-protests have been going on outside of the Delaney Hall ICE Detention Center in Newark, New Jersey for about 8 days now. These protests are over the poor conditions inside the facility, and immigrant detainees who are being held in this facility are undergoing a hunger strike right now in protest of the same poor, inhumane conditions. In response to these hunger strikes, White House border czar Tom Homan has threatened to start force-feeding these detainees. Now, force-feeding is widely considered to be a form of torture. The United Nations said as much when reporting made it clear that this was a technique being used by the American government towards prisoners in Guantanamo Bay. But obviously, we know that the Trump administration and the MAGA movement do not care about upholding the Convention Against Torture against immigrant detainees. They don't even care about upholding the constitutional rights or due process rights of these immigrant detainees. So let's check out a couple clips from these protests. All right, this first one is just a complete representation of what's wrong with the MAGA movement. And this guy is just the ultimate caricature of a Trump supporter in 2026. Check this out.
Who cares about the Epstein files, man? Hey, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Epstein files. The Epstein files are a hoax. Epstein files are Epstein files.
So these guys are supposed to be counter-protesting the protesters that are against the conditions of the detainees in Delaney Hall, but instead they're forced to defend all of Trump's other horrible policies because there are just so many. This guy is shouting that nobody cares about the Epstein files, which is just not true. We know from polling that Trump's popularity decreased significantly because of the Epstein file scandal. He's also wearing a Persians for Trump shirt. He's trying to defend the Iran war that Trump has illegally pursued, which is also extremely unpopular. I mean, all of these guys and women, I should say, are on the wrong sides of so many 70-30 issues where the vast majority of the American public knows that this is wrong or this is wrong or this is wrong, whether it be ICE's illegal actions, Trump's illegal actions when it comes to the war in Iran, or his suppression of the Epstein files and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So this is just, I think, a perfect encapsulation of the MAGA movement today. This next clip are New Jersey Proud Boys who showed up to counter-protest at Delaney Hall. And just to give some context, these were the first people into the Capitol building on the January 6th. These are traitors to our country. They should be treated as such. And just listen to what they have to say because, man, the irony here is unbelievable.
You obstructing traffic, obstructing workers. You don't know what you're doing, okay? You have no clue what you're even fucking protesting.
What are you saying?
I mean, just the irony of the Proud Boys, an organization that obstructed the certification of the 2020 election, criticizing protesters for obstructing traffic is insane and hilarious. And watch, they get called out for it right here.
Fucking numbskull.
All right, tear gas or pepper spray. Yeah, pushing cops, pushing ICE agents. That's okay, huh?
Yeah, January 6th, right? That was you guys?
What's that?
I don't know, was it? I wasn't. Were you there?
Cops up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Countless cops were assaulted on January 6th during the Capitol insurrection. And so for Proud Boys to be out here critiquing how people protest is just completely absurd. I also want to read you some quotes here from this NBC article where they talk to counter-protesters and protesters outside of Delaney Hall. This counter-protester, Michael, says in reference to ICE agents that they're just trying to do their jobs. This is the kind of rhetoric you hear from supporters of an authoritarian government. You wouldn't defend Chinese Communist Party officials who work in Uyghur detention camps by saying they're just doing their jobs. You wouldn't defend Nazi officers during the Holocaust by saying they're just doing their jobs and we should treat ICE officers no different. The standard to uphold is not whether you're doing your job, it's whether your actions are constitutional, whether they abide by international human rights. This is the standard that we should hold ourselves to as America, and in 2028, we need to go back to that standard. This protester who came out to Delaney Hall in opposition to the treatment of these detainees in New Jersey put it perfectly. Her name is Jacqueline Calderon, and she said she knew people who were recently detained by ICE. She goes on to say, these people don't come here to commit crimes. They come here for a better life for them and their loved ones. They deserve rights. They deserve a fair process. Due process. And that is the perfect summary. We're not asking for an open border. We're not asking that violent criminals be set free. The only thing we're asking for is fair treatment for immigrants who are already here. Legal, by the book procedure. And that is not what's happening under the Trump administration. Amnesty International released a report almost a year ago now about 2 detention centers in Florida, Alligator Alcatraz and Chrome. About a month before those reports, we started hearing about the cruel treatment that detainees were facing in these centers. And Amnesty confirmed it. They reported on torture, on deprivation of medical services, and on the crude, racist, derogatory language that these officers use. It is a valid concern that many of the same issues will come to light about this center in New Jersey. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and like this video if you want to see more coverage on this. And please don't stop talking about it.